This is a guide on making ISK in Syndicate space. We're going to be talking about ratting, gas huffing, and data and relic site hacking. This will not be a guide on mission running or PI and mining, because those are just not things that I personally do. We're going to talk about some strategies for doing the hardest sites, and we will go over some fits that should be relatively cheap and easy to skill into. This guide is definitely catered towards Omega accounts that have a decent amount of starting ISK, but there are some opportunities for alpha clones in Syndicate. We'll talk about that when we get to it. This guy is definitely through the lens of a person who doesn't really like sharing what they get, so I try to do as many things just solo as I can. So that's who you are. This should work out really well for you. So without further ado, let's get into the guide. First, we are going to be talking about scanning and hacking. Scanning down sites to use data and relic analyzer modules to get some fat loot from. So in terms of the actual sites, there are the sites that we're going to be running. So there are a couple things you can scan down. You can scan down gas sites, which is basically just a cloud of harvestable gas that you can scan down and warp to. We're going to talk about that more later. There are data and relic sites you can scan down. So there's 4 tiers of both that spawn in nullsec. There's a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4 data site. You can see that level by mousing over the anomaly at a certain point. It tells you the difficulty of the scan, and that's kind of how you tell what tier of site it is. So it's kind of intuitive in that level 4 sites are theoretically the highest amount of ISK in those, and level 1 has the lowest. But level 1 is also the easiest to scan down, so it's kind of a balance. In general, from what I can tell in nullsec, the relic sites, you just get more from them than data sites. I don't know why, but that's just the case. So that's why the Heron fit, which is this right here, you can tell it's pretty standard Heron. So things to point out are it has rigs catered to relic sites, just because you get more from those, might as well. And it has the cargo scanner, because I like to, personally I spend as little amount of time doing PvE and things, and the most amount of time doing PvP, because that's what I enjoy doing. I don't really have fun doing PvE. So cherry picking which cans to hack into, it just saves you time. Not doing sites that just have carbon and shit in them, or just nothing at all. It's also very useful in ghost sites, which is a different type of data site, which I'll talk about more in a second. But in that site, you have a limited amount of time to get as much as you can from it before everything explodes and you die. So that's where being able to cherry pick the best cans is really good. So yeah, let's talk about ghost sites now. So ghost site is a type of relic site. It's almost always a level 3 scan difficulty from what it says before you get the name of the site. Because once you get the name, you can just look it up in eVuni or something, and then you'll see all the potentials from it. But it's usually a level 3 data site, which is why you always want to scan down these sites. You can get really, there's videos of people getting billions and billions of ISK worth of blueprints from them. I've only gotten, I think I got 110 mil or something from one site. I thought it was a lot more, but because I got this implant blueprint that was pretty sick, but still 100 mil in 2 minutes, which is pretty decent. So yeah, there's the hackable sites, and then there are combat anomalies that you can scan down, which we'll talk about more in that section. Kind of focusing on scanning right now. And there are wormholes that you could potentially scan down. So wormholes, I mean, they're usually just not worth it for me. Whenever I've tried to hack, like scan things down, trying to scan down relic and data sites, it's always just a sleeper site that says it's a data site, and there are things you could hack there, but there's just a bunch of sleepers, and the Heron cannot deal with that. So, I mean, I've never lived in wormholes. I don't really know much about them. So maybe there's some secret juju that they're doing that I just don't. But nullsec hacking has been the best. I've never gone to POC vent either. I don't know what the hacking is like there. So yeah, those are all the sites. You got wormholes, or scannable things, scannable anomalies. You got wormholes, you got data and relic sites, you got ghost sites, and you have sleeper sites. Sleeper sites are special in that they show up as data sites, but they're in their own kind of thing. It's more like you go somewhere and then it's kind of more like an adventure. I did a couple. They're fun to do, but I just have never gotten much from them, and they take a lot of time and a lot of effort to complete, and there's a lot of stages where your ship can just explode, and it's kind of unfortunate. You kind of want to avoid that. So they're also really hard to scan down. With the Heron, I think you can only scan down the minor sleeper sites. There's like a minor cache, a standard cache, and a superior cache, sleeper cache. You get like some blue loot from them and some random blueprints and things. But that's just not something that I'm going to be covering in this guide. More about the very repeatable sources of ISK that come from data and relic sites. So yeah, it's kind of a rundown of things you could find while hacking. So now let's talk about how to actually scan things down. So I mean most people know how to scan things down, right? If you just have no idea what you're doing, I have a link to a very in-depth guide for new players on how to scan things down. I wanted to just share some tricks in terms of scanning, and that you see these like physical, like the actual site corresponding to these bubbles, these red bubbles. They can only be 4 AU away from, you know, the planets and the moons and stuff like that, and the sun. They can only be 4 AU away. So theoretically, you know, if I put my probes here, 4 AU from the big chunk of things, it won't find anything. But you'll find that it does actually get them. The only exception to the rule is those sleeper sites I was talking about. They can be just about anywhere. So yeah, you can see there that the sites, even though the probes were not within the entirety of the bubble, they still found the actual things. So it basically it just saves you a scan cycle, which is saves time, which increases your ISK per hour. So rest of scanning is basically the same. You just put all the probes closer and closer as as it gets easier to see. So yeah, you can see at this point, you know it's a data site. I think it's like 25% scan down the signal strength, and if you mouse over it, you will see the level which just corresponds to the site. So this is a level 2 data site, as you can see there. So we can scan that down. So yeah, scan down, and usually when I'm scanning other things down, I like to go on the site and just start hacking through some things. You can just kind of pick up a rhythm as you go through each system, and you go through each anomaly. You just kind of do it without even thinking at a certain point. I like listening to music while doing this, but you do whatever. So here I'm scanning that down while I'm using my cargo scanner to see which can is worth it. So usually for the data sites, the comm towers have the least, and then the mainframes have kind of middle, and the data banks have the most theoretically. They're also the difficulty of hacks. So a comm tower has a green core, a mainframe has a yellow or orange core, and then the data bank has a red core. And there you see I actually found a Serpentis prison camp, which is an 8 out of 10. We'll talk about running the sites later, but that's kind of just that 4AU really, the 4AU scan trick really helps. You just put the 4AU bubble on the closest chunk of you know, asteroid belts. I think asteroid belts too. It's just orbital bodies, so it's the moons, planets, the sun, all that. You just put the 4AU scan on the closest chunk of that, and you'll get you'll find the that's just where basically every site is, except for sleeper sites. So yeah, there's that. So the way that hacking works. So if you go to a CAN and you use your data relic analyzer, depending on the site on it, the way that it works is, so we have our we have a starting point, right? Like, you'll open this window, we have a starting point. So this is just some tricks. I mean, most people know how to actually do the hacking, but I'll go over some tricks in that. The goal is to get the core, right? If you destroy the core, then it unlocks the thing and you can loot it. So if you spawn over here, if this is your starting point, chances are the core is going to be around in this area. It's always going to be on the opposite side of where it's always going to be on this side. So it's going to be, chances are it will be on the opposite side. Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it is. So the area really close to your spawn, like these three, are almost certainly going to be completely safe to click on, so I would usually do that. They're not going to spawn any sort of they're not going to spawn any like defense things. And the most important thing is that there's something called the rule of 6, and that you can see here, for example, there is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 around one thing. It's this hexagon or whatever shape this is. So it will always be safe to click on the center hex, the center center point. It will always be safe to click on this. Same with here. So an example of what I might do is I'd go here, and then maybe that's like 4, and then I wouldn't go to this one or this one next, because these may have the hostile things that aren't good, right? So maybe I go here, and then I click on this one, because this one is guaranteed safe, So maybe I go here, you know, just going around seeing, oh, there's a nice thing here, I'll grab that, that's cool, and then just going, and then let's say I'm just going, oh, there's a bad thing, oh, I'll kill that, and then right here, right, I click on this, and then there's a hostile node. So the only time there will ever be a hostile node within the 6 things is if the core is one of these. So if there were to be a hostile thing here, right, then I know for a fact that the core is one of these, right? The core has to be one of these. So then I would just kill this and check one of these. Those are the main things. Like sometimes you'll have grids that you just don't have an opportunity to click on any ones, like 6 sites, all very narrow and winding. That happens, you just follow the numbers and just kill what shows up. But it's very important to stick to these safe nodes, right? Because we know that these ones will always be safe, and that the opposite side has the highest chance of, you know, having the core, right? So now let's talk about, let's just go into example hack, right? So here I'm coming in, and so this is a freaking, oh my god, it's it's a relic site, right? So it has the ruins, the rubble, and the remains. So the rubble is the green core hack. It's the easiest one. Remains are the yellow, the orange. Those are the kind of middle tier, and then the ruins are the red core hack. So they are the hardest, and theoretically they will have the most in them, right? So what you just saw me do, like, I like to take a site that I know is good, like that ruins that I'm really close to right now. I just put it down so I can just identify it later. Usually what I say is worth it is anything that's like 1 to like 1.5 mil and up. Usually if it's like just 1 mil or like 900,000, I usually don't do it. So you'll see here that's like 600,000 ISK. That's just not worth it. So let's go into this hack, right? So this is ruins, so it's the hardest, theoretically the hardest to scan down. So you see I'm just following the numbers. Oh, I found that. Finding some good stuff. It's good. And once again, if you just have no idea anything about hacking, I will put a link to just a super newbro friendly hacking guide. I just wanted to share some tips and tricks, right? So let's go to the remains. So this will be the orange hack. So it won't have the suppressor node that makes it so you only deal like 10 damage. And another thing to keep in mind, I do not have max hacking skills. I do not have like faction. I'm not in a like Tech 2 hacking ship. So sometimes you will just fail. You will just die, just like that. And if it happens, it happens. Usually it doesn't. Try to make it so it happens as least as possible, but it will happen. And you should keep that in mind. Every now and again you'll blow up like a 10 mil can, and it makes you sad. But then you go to the next one and the next site, and you just kind of forget about it. So yeah, this is the rubble, which is the green hack. Super easy. You can like two-shot the standard defense nodes. Very simple, very small. So yeah, we do that. That's that. And then one more that we want to do. This remains, and we'll go do that. But yeah, I mean, hacking, it's kind of just like the bread and butter of Syndicate is the DED sites, the escalations. Doing the hacking is just it's just substituting the ISK that you get from that, and it can be fun to do. So yeah, here we're just it's kind of winding and all that. So it can't really use the rule of 6, but when we see opportunities pop up, it's always good to use. So yeah, here you see that's the core. That can happen as well. The core can be the center one, which is always good. Nothing wrong with that. But almost always there'll just be nothing there. It's just how it works. So yeah. So now let's talk about a ghost site. So here I found a ghost site, or maybe this is one that one of my core mates found. Or no, I did. I scanned this one down. So ghost sites are very dangerous in that if you land, you're safe when you land, but the second that you start moving, a timer starts, and it's just a random timer. You have no idea how long it's going to take. These rats will spawn that will just instantly blap you, and the whole site will explode. And also, if you fail a hack, then you will also explode. And failing, like if you just try to warp away, the thing will explode and it'll kill you. So what you can do before the timer starts is just use your cargo scanner to see which cans are worth it. Here on this third can I found an implant blueprint that I sold for like 100 mil, and there was this other thing inside of there that was pretty expensive. So this is the best ghost site I've gotten out of like 4 or so. I usually just go for 1 can because I mean, you can go for more, but be ready to lose your ship, There isn't a stereo fit that can tank the explosion, so it's very safe in that the second that the rats spawn, you just leave. But yeah, usually the hacks are not very difficult, but if you fail them, then you will die. So try not to fail it if you can. This one was pretty dicey, but I did get it. and you just want to grab the loot and just dip. So yeah, it's ghost site. Be ready to lose your ship if you're doing ghost sites, because you know it's very dangerous. So now I wanted to just kind of add a little thing on gas huffing. This is the thing I would do if you're in an alpha. Just get a bunch of alpha clone buddies together and just find one of these suckers and just start huffing away. It's very AFK, very easy ISK. You know, best part about nullsec is you have local chat, so as long as local is clear, you don't have to like directional scanner. You don't have to use that at all to make sure you're safe. But second there's so many pops in local, you either want to just crab up in the station or spam your D-scan like a madman, because they can probe you down and kill you. Ventures are they're hard to catch, but things like the stealth bombers, they're great for catching ventures because you can instantly lock them the second that you leave cloak, and you just have to get a bunch of scrams. But I mean, I don't really do gas huffing. I don't know. I think it's really boring. I just watch like a YouTube video or just work on fits the whole time. It's not that fun. Usually gas is like, you know, like 60 mil worth of gas in a venture you can hold, which is decent. I mean, it's like 60 mil in like an hour or so. 60 mil an hour, it's not bad for an alpha clone. And if you get a bunch of buddies together, you know, huff away like crazy. So yeah, I just want to include this clip. You know, if you want to look at local chat, there's some interesting conversation I had with some Eve Uni guy in there. But yeah, this is gas huffing. If you want to do that. Yeah, yeah, gas huffing. Very fun, very interesting. Now we're gonna get to the best part of learning Syndicate, which is the Serpentis DD sites. They're great. They're really easy. They're a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get into that now. So, in terms of the combat sites we're going to be running, there are like 5 or so that I like doing. The main ones are the 7 out of 10, the 8 out of 10, and the 10 out of 10. In terms of the 6 out of 10, I personally have never found it in nullsec. Maybe it just has a higher spawn chance in lowsec or something. I don't know, it's not something that I've ever found, so this guide will not cover that. There are also 2 sites. There's so Independence, which is a rogue drone site. It's super fast. Like I can run it in like less than 7 minutes in the Ishtar fit. That's right, we're gonna be using an Ishtar. I'm gonna go over the fit in a bit, but right now we're just gonna talk about the sites. Run down. Independence rogue drone site. You can find it. It's usually like a level 1 scan, level 1 combat site scan. It's just really fast, and it guarantees a faction spawn, which is always good. And there's another you can scan down. Where is it? Another site that you can scan down, which is the Serpentis Provincial HQ. This is what it is. This is another one you can find. It's like a level 2 scan. I run it mainly because it has a really cool skybox. But also I always get an overseer spawn from it. I don't know why, but I always get one. Just another faction spawn that you can farm. So yeah, we're doing these 2, which are not DD sites, and then the majority of the ISK comes from the DD sites, right? We have our paramilitary complex, prison camp, and Serpentis Fleet shipyard. In terms of how to get these, most people, what they do is they run the havens and the sanctum, and the hub. Like they just run all these sites that have a chance to escalate into like sometimes you'll just get one of the sites. Personally, I don't really do that much. It's not something that I would suggest doing, because anytime you're just out in space, just sitting there, especially in a green site that people can just find, like they can just accidentally warp to you and then kill you. You just use your directional scanner to find you. It's pretty dangerous for you, because any cloaky like T3C or anything is just gonna wreck you. That's why it's very important to pay attention to local chat and to your Cinco Intel channel. Make sure you have that open at all times. And you're paying attention to that. So you can do these. Like I don't think I've ever gotten the faction spawn from them, and I've only gotten like 1 or 2 escalations from them. The bulk of the escalations that I run, I find via just scanning. You just scan them down. The 7 out of 10 is usually like a level 2 scan. 8 out of 10 is usually level 3, and then the 10 out of 10 is usually, or almost always, a level 4 scan. That Heron Fit can scan them all down fine. Yeah, this is just the bulk of this, the 10 out of 10. In terms of difficulty, 7 out of 10 is definitely the easiest, and then the 10 out of 10 is like decently easy, and then the 8 out of 10 is very difficult. That is where the Ishtar fit can have some trouble. We are going to go over ways to do it, but it's pretty dangerous. Things can go wrong, and there's some things that can be out of your control. But great rewards. Like you basically run like 2 sites, and the Ishtar is paid for itself. So it's great. So yeah, that's the rundown of the sites we're going to be doing: Independence, Provincial HQ, and the escalations. I am just gonna go, like, I'm gonna have a video of just running a Haven just so you can see how it works. Yeah, that's that. So I want to talk about the fits that we're going to be using. So we have our Ishtar, which is this is the one that's going to be running all the sites, right? So a couple of things to point out: we have pretty balanced resist profile with extra large shield booster. This is a very cheap fit, so it's like 280 mil right now. In terms of drones, your wasps are the they're the main damage dealers, right? I like to also run a set of ogres because it's just nice to have a max DPS set. And some of the rats, I believe in the 10 out of 10, the like supervisor rats have a normal resist profile, so the ogres do better than the wasps in that. The ogres are better for killing them than the wasps. They have a lower thermal resist. So with my skills, which are not maxed, you're hitting like 739 DPS, which is good. You know, like it's enough to kill the battleships in a decent amount of time, if you ask me. I'm missing drone interfacing 5, so it's like extra 10% I'm missing, and maybe some drone specific skills like the Kodari specialization I'm missing. But yeah, that's that. The main way that this fit works is you land in a bunch of rats. What you want to shoot first is anything that will web you, because the fit really having the afterburner lets you mitigate a lot of damage. You can face tank a lot with your crazy resists and the shield booster, the extra large shield booster. You can have drugs if you want, just to be safe, like a blue pill and a hard shell and all that, just in case something bad happens. But this afterburner is it's what makes you basically unkillable. As long as nothing's webbing you, you should be able to mitigate just about all damage if you have enough transversal built. Good way to do that is just taking a spot in the center of the rats and just orbiting that at like 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers, and nothing will be able to track you. You'll take some damage, but nothing that your resists and your shield booster can't handle, right? The auto targeting system, so this is always on. I'm gonna go over kind of just the step-by-step that you want to do, because if this is not on, then your drones take a lot of aggro. What this does, I believe how it works is it puts a effect on all ships within like 60 kilometers or something, which makes it so all the rats will aggro on you and not the drones. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it works most of the time, so it's good to have. So this will always be running, and you know, your shield hardeners and your shield booster and all that. So yeah, this is the Ishtar fit. This is like non-negotiable for running sites. I think this cost is very fine, considering running 2 sites. They give you the minimum amount they can possibly give. We'll pay for it. I think this is a really nice price, and it's relatively easy to skill into as well. So there are 2 other fits. There's kind of a cheaper, because basically there's a station in the 8 out of 10 and the 10 out of 10, right? It has insane tank. You need around like 1200 DPS minimum to be able to kill it eventually. There are some tricks you can use, so I'll talk about that in a second. But I have this polarized exec fit. That's oh yeah, this is the travel version. But you put your 6 mag stabs and your void, and you're hitting 1300 DPS, which is enough to eventually just straight up out DPS it. Without the micro running, you should be cap stable with this, which will wrap all the damage as the station does. So you basically just ram this sucker in the station, just blast it. It takes like 30 minutes, which is fine. It doesn't take too long. So yeah, I'll show some videos of that working. And then There's this trick where if you're 55 or so kilometers away, basically if you're out of web range of the station, because the station webs you, it just straight up will not rep for some reason. Its armor will not rep. The shield will still rep, but the shield reps are not that bad. The armor rep is the main, that's the main thing. So as long as there are no drones, that's a big one, and no ships that are closer, that are within web range of the station, it will not rep its armor. And that's where this fit, which hits Scourge Rage out to 60, which is enough range with my skills for 880 or so. Actually, no drones. I should probably put drones. This will basically, you pull range, you pull 55 off or out of web range of the station, and then you just shoot it with the missiles until it's dead. This takes kind of like 10 minutes to do because it still has a lot of hull buffer and the shield just does rep. But it is faster. It is, of course, more expensive, and it's kind of finicky. Like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's why I would suggest bringing the ENI as well. There is, of course, friendship is a great way to kill it, as in if you just ask in your, Cinco General, if you ask for help, chances are there'll be a guy with a Marauder or something that can help you kill the final room. And usually I just do it to where you just split the guaranteed loot, so you split the Overseer's personal effects. And then you get to keep all the fancy shit if it drops. But that's one way it works. It's definitely what I would do if you're like in an alpha account running these. Just get a bunch of alpha clone buddies and get in there. So yeah, those are the 3 ratting fits that we're going to be using. So here is a rock haven. So you find havens and the sanctums and all that. You find that in your probe scanner window. Yeah, you just warp to it and you run it. So there's rock havens and gas havens. Basically, Ishtar can run them both fine. What you want to do is just orbit for the rock haven, which is this one. You just want to orbit the pirate gate, like 15 or so, and this should keep you. This should keep you good. You're just gonna take no damage with the afterburner fitted. You build a lot of transversal and you barely take any damage. And you see it takes like a minute or so for things to spawn. But after they spawn, then they spawn, and then you just kill them. Usually what I like to do is I turn on the auto-targeting system, and then the second I start getting red box, that's when I deploy the drones. That's usually, that keeps them pretty safe. You always want to be keeping an eye on your drones, and mainly keeping an eye on if any of the rats have stopped targeting you, because that means they're going to start shooting your drones and you want to pull them in. Your guns are great. You just shoot some rats, even if you don't hit them. It pulls some aggro off of your drones, but the auto-targeting system does most of the work for you there. So yeah, this is a haven. You just spin around the station, and you just keep spinning, and then things die, and then maybe you'll get an escalation, and that's that. So yeah, I'll just let this. that's in the Haven. Didn't get anything. Didn't get any faction spawns. So that's it. You just go to the next Haven, or you go to the next thing that you want to do. I'm not going to show Gas Haven just because it's the same exact thing. It's not very interesting to watch. Just watching paint dry. It's very fun. So yeah, you should expect around like 20 to 30 mil ticks, bounty ticks. So that's like 60 mil an hour, which is decent. Very decent. So yeah, we'll go into some tips for keeping your drones alive now. So now I'm gonna show you guys a trick if your drones are just taking way too much aggro, and it's just kind of annoying. So here, this is just I think it's like second room on a 7 out of 10 maybe. I forget what site this is, but here, like I have my auto targeting system on and everything. My drones just keep getting shot. So you'll see, is it happening yet? Let's see. Yeah, you see there's a decent amount of them just yellow boxing me. So yeah, what I'm trying to do to decrease drone aggro is just shooting things with my guns. But, you know, it doesn't always work. So yeah, I can see that there's some threatening to shoot the drones. So you just want to pull your drones, and I swear this is... Everybody I tell this to thinks it's, like, not true. I don't know why. But what you want to do, right, if your drone's just taking way too much aggro, it's just not working out, like you're shooting things, it's just nothing's working. Warp to the sun, eject from your ship, wait like 10 seconds, go back into your ship, and then just go back to the site and keep going, like nothing ever happened. I know it's stupid, it's very stupid, but I swear it always works. Works for me anyways. So if it doesn't work for you, then I mean, I don't know, probably doing something wrong. So yeah, you just eject from your ship, you look around, you wait a little bit, you go back in, and then you just go back to the site. Just keep going, and you will see here, they just don't shoot me. I mean, they shoot me. They definitely shoot me, but they just stop shooting the drones. So you'll see. It's a weird trick, and it works questionably well. Usually it works. So there's one time where it didn't, and then I just exited the game and then went back in, and then it worked. Like drones and rats are very finicky. You know, this game's old, so it has some weird shit that happens, right? So yeah, let's see. We're just going back to the site. I'm jamming out to some tunes right now, which I definitely suggest you do. Like, listen to music or be on comms with people that you like talking to, or like watch YouTube videos and shit, because this shit is so freaking boring. Like, I don't understand how people can do PvE. It's like the most freaking mind-numbing. It's more boring than watching paint dry, because at least with paint dry, you know, sometimes a bird will fly over and like shit on the fence, and then you have to repaint the fence. At least something can happen, but it's like, it's just so freaking boring. It's just so boring. Just so boring. I hate ratting. So yeah, this drone trick, it should work. I'm not putting 100% confidence in it, because like I said, it's kind of weird, but it works like 99% of the time. And I actually don't have the rest of this. I don't have the rest of the site, but they didn't shoot the drones anymore. If you don't think it works, try it, and then if it still doesn't work, then I don't know, man. Just it should work. It should work. It should. Just believe it works. Just believe. Here you see they don't target my drones anymore. It's great. They're just shooting me. Of course, I am still using my autocannons to shoot the destroyers. Destroyers are pretty easy to kill with the autocannons. You just want to shoot the destroyers, and then that definitely pulls some aggro. But Sometimes you need to do that extra little bit, and that's where the trick works very well. So yeah. So now let's talk about independence. So like I said, this is a very, very fast site. Just level 1 combat site. Just very easy to scan down, very easy to do. So it is an ungated site in that the first room, like, I mean, it has a gate, but you can just use the gate. You don't have to kill anything. The frigates, you do want to kill the frigates just because they can web you and they can tackle you and things like that. So you just want to kill them on your way. So yeah, you'll see me just killing them. You just want to kill them on the way. That's that. You kill the rats. You can use their autocannons. I would just use the light drones. I believe they're rogue drones. Their lowest resist like EM damage. So if you want like some acolytes, they're great for dealing with the rogue drones. So yeah, just this first room, very easy. You just burn to the gate, killing frigates on the way. So as you might have seen there, when you do activate the gate, some drones will just spawn in. I think some of them can technically tackle you, but if you should just be able to warp straight through. You just turn off your afterburner, and you should warp relatively quick. So in this room, you only want to worry about these 3 battleships, right? You can just orbit that little floating disc thingy. You just want to kill the 3 battleships. After you kill the 3 battleships, there will be a second wave that spawns more battleships. You just want to shoot one of those battleships, and then the sentient will spawn, and you just kill the sentient, and then you leave. That's all you can do on the site. So yeah, here you see last battleship. So now we're just going to shoot just one of the battleships that spawn after the first 3 die, and then that will spawn the sentient. And you want to do ogres on the should have said the first one, but you want to do ogres on these guys. They have lower thermal resist than kinetic. So yeah, we just kill the sentient as like a 12 mil bounty. This one I don't believe drops anything, but I have gotten some nice faction loot from them, and you just run it fast, run it quick. now we're going to be going over the 7 out of 10. It's a good site to do pretty quick. So this first room is, yeah, I mean, like old DD sites, can't look scary, you know, there's a bunch of freaking rats. Yeah, 7 out of 10 is definitely the easiest one. There's no webs. I think there's like one web tower, but there's basically no webs, and nothing can warp disrupt you, nothing can stop you from leaving, so if something bad happens, you just dip. So this first room has a lot of drone aggro, I will say. They love chopping on the drones, so what I like to do before deploying my drones is just kill some of the destroyers with my autocannons. Really easy to kill destroyers. So yeah, this first room, very easy. Just want to kill destroyers, and then with your autocannons for a bit, and then once it feels safe, you just get the heavies out and wait for things to die. So yeah, second room, same as the first. Bit less drone aggro. It's nothing special, I like to just orbit the acceleration gate at 500 because it keeps me nice and close to it. Just turn on all your modules. This is back to that, you turn on the auto targeter and then you wait for things to red box you or yellow box you. And then that's when you deploy the drones. That's that. Second round, pretty easy. is a Shadow Serpentis guy that can kill, get some extra loot. I like to kill them first and then go back to orbiting the gate. So yeah, you'll see me find, I like to sort by name first, just to make it easy to see where he is, because it sorts alphabetically. Because just trying to find him when it's sorted by distance is kind of annoying. So yeah, you just lock him up, get the drones on him, and he dies pretty quick, and then back to orbiting the gate and waiting. Fourth is the same exact thing as the third. There's a Shadow Serpentis guy that spawns. And you'll see the website I'm using is the Eve University Wikipedia. It's really good for if you have any questions about any sites. I always have it up if I'm doing a site. Just tells you what triggers are, what if there's web towers, if there's some loot, if there's some extra thing you have to do. Yeah, here, same as the third. Kill the Shadow Serpentis and then get his loot and then go back to orbiting the gate. fourth room. This one has a stasis webifying tower. So whenever there's one of those, I like to deploy light drones, because they can get to the tower pretty quick. Same thing, I sort by name in my overview just to find it quick, and then I kill that first. I deploy my light drones and kill it. Medium drones also work. I usually just do the smalls because they go up quick. After that's dead, just want to start approaching the big boss or whatever he's called. Get the heavies out. You'll see that he goes, like all of the faction rats usually go really quick, at least the Cerberus ones. But they slow down once you're close to them, so you never have to really worry about that. Now another thing is, in the wiki, it says that he webifies you, and on EVUNI, well, in the game, it gives you the little icon that you're being webbed. At first I thought maybe it was like a grappler, because it doesn't actually slow you down at all. But it doesn't matter how close you get, like the web icon pops up, as you can see, but it just doesn't slow me down at all. So I don't really know what's going on there. Yeah, it goes pretty fast until you're close to them, and then he slows down. And that's where your loot is. So you just gotta, kill him. Take your shit. Take his shit. That's gonna be your shit. Another thing I wanted to say is sometimes your drones can have trouble replying to the rat. Usually when that happens, I pull them in and then redeploy them, because then they just go straight back to the target instead of trying to hit from far away. Because medium drones, sometimes they try to shoot at things that are out of their range. But if you just pull them in and then redeploy them and put them on the same target, then they will go straight into their range again, so they should start applying. Yeah, and see here, I'm not really moving, so I'm taking a decent amount of damage, but as long as you just start moving again, you'll be fine. You can overheat your tank for a very long time as well, but this really shows how important that afterburner is. Yeah, we got pretty decently. Got a nice the overseas effect and a nice micro drive. It's pretty middle tier loot for the site. I've gotten more, but it's still good. Basically, as long as you get something, because there's a chance that you just get nothing. As long as you get something, it's usually. So, it's time for the dreaded 8 out of 10. It's a pretty tricky site. Mainly just the last room. There's a lot of webs, there's a lot of tackling freaks, and there's a lot of DPS. First we're going to just go through the running of the site, and then 2 different strategies for finishing off the last room. So yeah, this first room, pretty easy. some desis and battleships. I usually just like to kill the battleships first because all the destroyers die pretty quick. So, second room. Same as the first, just more rats. This site generally doesn't have much drone aggro. It's really only the last room that things can get a little hairy. But otherwise you just do that thing where you land, get the afterburner on, get the auto targeter on, and then the moment that you start getting yellow box and red box, you deploy your drones. And then they'll just aggro on something, and then you can just wait for them to kill everything. I just want to say, like, these sites have pretty cool shit in them. I mean, there's like all these random spaceships just kind of chilling. And also there's this one, let's see when I get to it, like, they have all these, like, Tech 2 haulers and shit. Like, what's going on? They have a crane. Like, what are these Serpentis guys up to over here? Like, they have all this fancy equipment that they're just not using. But the main thing, there's like these haulers. Let's see when I find it. You got Dominic's. Yeah, this hauler, like, that's not a ship that exists. Like, look at the name. That ship doesn't exist. Like, what is going on here? Are these like future ships? Cause they just don't. That name, I mean, I've never seen that name before. I don't know if somebody else has. Maybe that's like some lore thing, but those they don't exist. And the main thing, there's yeah, I mean, there's just some random mining ship, Exumer, or whatever these things are called. There's all these landing pads to all these bunkers and things. But there's also, I forget when I get to it, but yeah, right there, there's like just a Marshal sitting there, but it's called like Apocalypse or Armageddon or whatever. Like, that is just not what that ship is. It's just some random Marshal just kind of chilling there. I don't know what that is, but the freaking Serpentis guys have Marshals. You'd think they'd be a lot scarier, but I guess not. But yeah, I mean, the weirdest thing is just those haulers. Like I'd like to know if that is like an actual ship that I just don't know about. Maybe some special edition ship. But it definitely looks cool. Maybe, yeah, maybe it's some lore thing. Who knows? So that's the end of second room, pretty sure. So this third one has a another Shadow Serpentis guy to kill. So just like before, I use a sort by name just to find them fast. Approach, lock them up, get the auto targeter on. I should be getting the afterburner on. So the turrets immediately aggress you, but I really only worry about the when the frigates and like when all the ships aggress, because you actually don't need to kill the turrets to go to the next room. They're just they just deal a little bit of extra damage. Usually I just ignore them. I guess it's a little bit more bounty, but it's like 60,000 ISK per thing. It's usually not worth the time. So yeah, here you just want to kill the rat, loot him, and then get orbiting the station again. And then the next room, that's when things get a little bit hectic. So yeah, we'll talk more about that when we come to it. And also, before I forget, if you ever see me using a mixed matched set of drones, you know, I have an ogre and 4 wasps. That's not some kind of secret strategy. That's just me, you know, living in nullsec. In that, if you lose a drone, you can't just really go to Jita and buy a new one. So you're kind of just working with what you have. Like sometimes you can buy a wasp somewhere, but they're usually really overpriced. So I just just use an ogre with the 4 wasps because I lost one because just not paying attention to things, or there's lots of ways you can lose them. So yeah, just kill the rat, loot him, get back on the station. So I wanted to use this high-tech 3D model to kind of show the layout of the 8 out of 10 final room. So there are 4 stations that surround you. This green point is where you warp in, so you kind of warp through like this, like shoo, boom. So you land right here. So these orange dots are stasis webifying towers, right? So there are 4 webbing towers all around, and then this is the hostile station. It shoots missiles at you. They don't deal much damage, but it also webs you, which is a big problem. So you land around like 33 kilometers away from the station. It can webs out to 55. To 55, right? So the idea, so basically, oh yeah, and then these red blobs are the hostile. This is the DPS. So the DPS spawns relatively far away from you, but it includes frigates that move a lot faster, and they will tackle you, so they'll web you, and they will warp disrupt you, which is bad because with these 4 webbing towers and this guy, you're basically not moving, and their DPS applies perfectly, and if all the frigates are on you and you can't leave, then you die, and that's not good. So when you land here, right, you're the green guy, you land here, what we want to do is slow burn away from the station. So we want to go this way, because once we hit, maybe it's like around here, this is like the safe zone, once we get this far away, we're 55 kilometers away from the station, so this will stop webbing us. So there's 2 ways of going about this. The first clip that I'm gonna show is the safest way, which is killing the frigates first. So the frigates are the only things that will tackle you, in that they're the only things that will stop you from leaving. So if we kill the frigates first, then we should theoretically just be completely safe. The problem with that way is by the time all the frigates are dead, the main clump, the main DPS, it has all moved into where you are, so it's all in DPS range, and you're gonna start taking a lot of hits. So what you're gonna need to do is warp in and then warp back out, and then warp in and warp back out a lot of times until all the DPS is dead, which, I mean, it just takes time. So the first clip is that way. It's the safest way. It's also the slowest way. And then my favorite way, best way to do it, if you ask me, because you can do it without warping in and warping out. So you want to land. Let's get rid of some of this. So when you land here, you boom, you land right here. So everything webs you immediately. What you're gonna do is start burning away again. You're gonna burn towards the safe zone. And then with your small drones, you're gonna kill the webbing tower. So you're gonna want to go. You don't really want to go like this. You just want to go here, 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 here. For example, you want to go all in a straight line because it just makes it faster. So you're slow burning. You're burning. These things are all dead. Essentially, these ones are dead. The only thing that's webbing you is this. So you're gonna go like 100 meters per second, which is decently fast. But at this point, the frigates are on you, right? So you need to clear frigates really fast, because if too many of them web you, it is kind of random. If too many of them web you, then you're not going to be able to pull range before the main DPS comes in. And when the main DPS comes in, that damage is going to start ticking up, and you're going to start taking a lot of heat. This is where it's very important to start heating your tank. Definitely don't be afraid to heat your tank. You're not cap stable with the repper running. But you're decently stable, so you can just kind of run heat on it when you need to. What you want to prioritize, you just want to start killing all the frigates with your small drones. They might start aggroing your light drones, in which case you're going to want to just pull them straight in. Pull them in and then put them right back out again. You don't really have time to do any tricks. You just want to make sure your auto-targeter is on. And you just want to be clearing frigates. Frigates that have priority are any frigate that starts webbing you and tackling you. I like to prioritize webs because the less webs there are, the less slow you'll be, and the faster you'll get out of this web. Once you're out of this web, once you've reached the safe zone, then you're basically good, because the frigates won't be able to catch up on you, and then you can just do a big orbit around the entire. You can do a big orbit around the station at 55 kilometers, and then nothing will be able to hit you. Usually, how it works out is, let's delete all this. Usually, how it works out is I land, boom, we land, and then I start burning, and then these will die, right? And then around that time, that's when the frigates start getting within range, and then I'm just blapping frigates. Any frigate that warp disrupts and webs me as priority, making sure I'm using my guns. And then usually when I'm like here, so this is a safe zone, right? Usually when I'm like here, that's when the DPS starts stacking up. But at that point, I'm just over the edge. So then I break free of the safe zone, and then I start mitigating damage. So remember, this is that web. So this is actually not a good circle. You want to circle all the way around, or so you can just kind of circle. So messy. You can kind of circle an area right here, but basically by the time the DPS is in range of you, you're almost out of this web. So as long as no frigates are tackling you, then you should be good. Or not many frigates webbed you, I should say. This may not make much sense. You know, high-tech models, they kind of, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But it makes a lot of sense once you're in there. So let's go to that. This first run is doing the safest way, which is just killing all the frigates first. And then we'll talk about killing the station later. So like I said, this is the safest way. This clip is kind of before I really finalized my the best ways to run 8 out of 10. So you see I don't really burn away from the station. Yeah, right here, right? You can see there's 4 stations around us, and then right behind us is where that main web is. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not burning away from the station like I should be. That's the station right there. I'm just kind of going to a safe. So I should be trying to burn away, but I'm just not. So, like I said, put out the small drones, and we're just going to be killing frigates first. So remember, this is the safest way. You can kind of see there's those 4 blobs of battle cruisers and destroyers and battleships, so they're decently slow. The frigates kind of get up closest. So this is where I use the Control-Shift-Click command to unlock targets very quickly. You see, it looks like I'm just clicking on them and then they're going away, but what I'm doing is pressing Control-Shift and then click to unlock some targets. So there is a lot of frigates, but you just want to keep chopping through them, using your guns when you can. The DPS right now is not that bad, because main DPS ships are not out yet. They're not close to us. So yeah, you just want to keep shooting frigates. At this point, they target my drones. One of them's webbing my drone, so that drone's probably dead. So yeah, I just pull it in, and then put new drones back out again, and just keep going. Because you cannot have DPS going. You cannot not have DPS going out. So yeah, here I should be trying to kill the one that's warp disrupting me first. I think I'm getting to that now. But yeah, it can be hard to lock specific targets with the auto targeting system active, but you really want it up, or else your drones are just gonna be taking so many shots. Just use that Control-Shift-I command to unlock targets fast. Like I said in the beginning, this is a hard site. It's a scary site. Things can go wrong and you can die. So I would run these with other people at first, at least, or maybe in more expensive ships. There are ways that a pretty blingy Ishtar can just straight up tank all the damage, but that's just not what this is. So yeah, you see me, I'm just killing frigates. I should be able to get most of them down as the main DPS comes in, but we will see. So yeah, there are some sensor damps, but they're pretty erratic. They don't really do much. Ishtar has a very nice locking range, nice drone control range. You can kind of split targets where you have your drones on one frigate and then you can shoot the other one because the guns are pretty good at killing frigates. But once all of the frigates are dead, you should basically be safe. Safe from dying, as long as you warp off fast enough. But yeah, you can see my tank is starting to break a little bit as the DPS gets closer, because I'm still getting webbed by the 4 towers and I'm getting webbed by the station. But you just gotta keep clearing frigates, one after the other, right? You can make use of the sorting alphabetically, or by type, sorry, just to block up frigates really fast. Here I'm using it to kill stasis towers because I've killed all the frigates. I'm killing stasis towers last. At this point, my tank is breaking. I'm gonna start heating soon. This is definitely the slowest method because you have to warp off and then warp back. It takes a lot of time. Yeah, here now I'm killing stasis towers. It's not the best, not the fastest way. At this point, you would be getting close to getting to the safe zone, getting close to being 55 kilometers away from the webbing station. But you know, I'm not, because I'm not going away from it. So yeah, I start heating my tank, and I should try to start pulling my drones soon to leave. Because DPS is really starting to rack up. Yeah, if you're doing the strategy, I don't know, I would probably just prioritize just killing DPS over the stasis towers, because it'll lead to you having to warp off less. So yeah, here I warp, and I'm just going to fast forward through me going through all the gates again. But like you can see, I am taking some armor damage, so this is a very scary sight. You have to be cautious, you have to be fast to warp off, and you have to be fast to prioritize targets that are warp disrupting you. So yeah, we'll just speed up until I get back in the site. So we're landing back on the grid. Here I think I figured it out. I figured out trying to burn away from the center station, so I just aligned to the sun, which is a okay angle to get out of the range of that, get out of the range of the station. So you'll see at this point, so all the DPS has made it to the center, which means that I'm gonna be taking all that damage right from the start. But here I'm still just trying to kill stasis towers just to improve my speed a little bit, which I would say is a good idea. You definitely just want to heat your tank, heat your afterburner, heat everything, just to get as much out as you can. So yeah, at this point, I think that third stasis tower is dead, so I'm turning my drones, and I'm going to just warp down again. So another thing that I'm doing is I'm pulling the rats farther down and farther down. So at a certain point, I will be able to just warp. I'll be able to go the other way, because all the rats will be below me. I'll be able to go up. Eventually that will be able to be the case, but like I said before, this is definitely the slowest way because of all the travel time. But I mean, it's the safest way. if that matters, because you can just warp off at any time. The main thing with the site is just basically just managing where all the DPS is. Once the webs are gone and once they're out of that web range, it doesn't matter as much, but it can be a lot of bit of a nerve wracker seeing all that damage come in. So yeah, like before, we'll speed up the travel time. Alright, so we're heading back into the site. I believe there's one more stasis tower for me to kill. But yeah, you can see as we land right in that gigantic pile of rats. We're just going to be aligning back down to the sun, because it's just at a decent angle. Usually you can just align in a point in space, and then when you have to warp off, that's when you will align to your safe, or your way of getting out. Your warp point, right? So we're gonna kill this last stasis tower, and then I'm pretty sure we're just gonna have to leave again. Once all the stasis towers are gone, it's just gonna be that one, just gonna be the hostile station. That's the only thing that's gonna be webbing us. So we're gonna be going 100 meters per second, which is, it can be enough speed once you have enough transversal. So we'll see, we'll be able to stay just a little bit longer and just clear a little bit more DPS until at a certain point we'll be able to we'll be able to just stay and finish clearing everything. So yeah, I'm bringing my drones back in just to try and save them if I can. Definitely don't be too scared to leave your drones. It's actually something in the havens and the sanctums. A dreadnought rat has a very low chance of spawning. And with that, you just want to leave, because it will tackle you out to 50 and you will die horribly. Just abandon your drones, it's not worth it. I forgot to say that. Maybe I should put a little thing in there. But yeah, this is my least favorite way. It's just so slow. Least favorite way to do the site, because it's just how slow it is. But yeah, we'll just keep fast forwarding the travel time for you. Once again, coming back in the station, going back on good with all the rats. At this point, same thing, keep aligning. Rats will just keep moving down, farther and farther down. And we're just going to be killing main DPS, which is battleships. I think you can basically just kill one, and then you're going to have to pull your drones and leave again. At a certain point, we will of course be able to just stick around a little bit. So it's just kind of a slog getting through all the battleships, getting through the main DPS, and then battleships, battle cruisers, and then destroyers. By the time you're on battleships, you should be good for DPS. You should be able to stick around. Just try to build some transversal that you can, or just try to get away from that station, the web from that station. I'm kind of doing that. I'm kind of not. I'm mainly just trying to just kill DPS, because like before, it's a safe way, not the fast way. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna fast forward till we get to actually killing the station, which is where the fat loot is. So at this point I've cleared out basically all the rats. So the way I'm going to be killing the station, because the Ishtar does not have enough DPS to kill it. So what I'm doing is just asking in Synco General if somebody wants to help me finish it off. Since they're just helping you with some DPS, I usually just say, well, I'll just split the either split, or you can just have the Overseer personal effects. Just to, you know, they didn't really do all the work. You know, they get what they get, and they don't get upset. Right? You can say the terms. Of course, it has to make sense. It's not just, oh, I'll like throw you a dime for you to come over here with your DPS ship. So as long as there's enough people online, you should have a person willing to help you with some extra DPS. Finish off the station. Pretty sure sooner rather than later somebody starts talking about Tengu. You know, oh, there he is. So he's like, yeah, I'll come over. Shout out to him. He's a great guy. So yeah, you just want to finish clearing, and then your new buddy hop in. Make sure he goes in your fleet or join standing fleet if there's a standing fleet up, so that he can just warp his ship straight to you, and then you'll kill the station. Takes forever, but you know, just how it works out. So this is the friendship way. Yep, we'll just fast forward killing the station, getting to the fat loot. So, it's almost dead. Come on. Yes, so. Station's dead. It will drop a little cargo container right there, and boom! I think we got very decent drops. Very nice loot. So total site time took like 2.5 hours. So plus like 120 million bounties, maybe something like that. I'd say that's very decent payout, very decent is per hour. Combined with the estimated cost of those items and the bounties. So yeah, that's that. That's the fat loot. Yeah, compliments to this guy again, helping out a player in need, player in distress. So now what we're gonna do is get into that the way that I like to do it, the fast way. Site time for that way is usually like an hour and 20, like maybe like. Yeah, it takes like hour, 2 hours max. So it is decently faster. Yeah, I mean, it's more dangerous, I guess, but I've never died. I've run it like 6 or 7 times, and I've only gotten close to dying once. But I was just able to heat tank and pray. Having drugs helps for these. But yeah, let's do the fast way now. So yeah, so we're getting straight into it here. So yeah, this is a different site, different time, different system. So the first thing I'm going to do here is see where the station is. Station's over there. It's got like this prisoner isolation facility. I like to just find something to align to because it's less things to like think about. So I just align in a direction that's away from the station, right? And what I want to do is deploy my small drones and get them on the towers. Here I don't know, I press F, but the drones don't want to engage the towers. Don't really know what's going on there. But eventually I figure it out and get the drones where they need to be. So that did waste some time, but it's fine. So you see the frigates are separating from the main DPS. They're swarming me. Well, they're going to eventually. I still have some time to blap stasis towers. So that's just what we're gonna do. You can see I'm kind of doing it in that circular pattern, so that the drones aren't just going. So the drones don't have to travel as much, because that just slows them down. So here I am getting work disrupted by one of them. I'm not really worrying about that yet, because the DPS is still quite far away. We can do that later. There I accidentally unlock one of the stasis towers, which is fine. You can just relock it. This is where that control shift click is very useful, because then I can very quickly unlock targets. So there's only 2 stasis towers left. At this point, you see the warp disruptor is off me, so they're actually trying to kill my drones right now, which is good. Frigates always have a lot more drone aggro on small drones. It's very strange. I don't know why. Everything else is trying to kill me, but some of the frigates are trying to kill my drones. If this doesn't happen to you, it's fine. The closest that I actually ever got to dying was all the frigates targeted my drones, and then I ran out of light drones, which is not good. And then I was getting webbed really hard by everything. But this is a pretty standard run through of the site. I get webbed and tackled by the amount pretty average amount. So that stasis tower is dead, and now we're just gonna, last stasis tower is dead, so we're just gonna start hazing frigates. You'll see I pull them in now because one of them I think is gonna die, which is unfortunate, but they're only small drones, right? So yeah, I noticed a little bit late, and I should have been pulling my drones in sooner. You can see at this point, I'm only getting webbed by the prisoner isolation facility, which is the hostile station, which is good because I'm going at 100 meters per second. Once the frigates start webbing me, that's when I start slowing down again. Here, like, to play it safe, you can prioritize just killing the things that are warp disrupting you, but I like killing what's webbing me, because that's what's stopping me from stopping me from leaving, right? That's what's stopping me from leaving the safe zone, which leads to me being able to sig tank everything. Because this way is trying to prioritize not having, just to decrease travel time, not having to warp in and out multiple times, because I don't like doing that. But you can see I just prioritize frigates that are webbing and warp disrupting me. Webbing first, then warp disrupting, and then if nothing's going on, then we just kill frigates. So here I'm starting to take some DPS, so I preemptively start heating my tank. All the DPS is converging on me. So we're gonna start taking some more hits, but you'll see that very quickly, or very soon, I'm gonna be leaving that 55 kilometer range that the station can web us. Yeah, you can see after heating, my cap is struggling a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. So we've hit the safe zone. We're 55 kilometers away from the station, so we can start picking up speed and start sig tanking. Here I just turn off my repper just to regenerate a little bit of cap, and then I'll turn it back on again. We still want to kill frigates, because what will happen here is I actually still do get webbed by one of them, which is not good. We just want to be killing frigates, because we can outrun them, but some are still close enough to where they will try to kill us here. So here I start just orbiting the station, which I don't really like doing, because yeah, I see I'm getting webbed, so I'm just gonna try to prioritize killing what's webbing me. The frigates die really fast, so if one webs you or points you, you should be fine. So yeah, here I start orbiting the prisoner isolation facility, the station that webs at 55 kilometers. I mean, I wouldn't do that because it makes it so you move very far away from all the rats, so they're out of range of the auto-targeting system, so they'll start blapping your drones. So what I do, which I think I do start doing in this, is I start orbiting the opposite station. I start orbiting it at like 15 or so, because that keeps me out of range of the webs, and it just keeps me close enough to the rats where they won't start trying to kill. My drones. So at this point, you're basically safe. There's almost no more frigates. They're all really far away from you. You can just start sig tanking. It is still a lot of DPS on grid, so you do want to make sure you always have your transversal. Here, it looked like I was going to bump into the station, so I just started manually piloting a little bit. But yeah, you see at this point, I'm just orbiting the station at 20, which keeps me out of range of the web tower. So once all the frigates are dead, I'm just going to pull my light drones, and that's that. It's just like everything else. You just deploy heavies and start killing things. So I'm not going to show the rest of the clip because we've already seen it. And you're probably getting bored of seeing things die. So I'm going to go into the way that the exec navy can kill the station solo. Takes forever, but it's fine. So here we have that exec navy fit that I showed earlier. The micro drive, it can go through the sites very fast, go through the rooms very fast. So I actually forget, this may be just a third different, maybe a different 8 out of 10, or maybe it's the same one. Doesn't really matter. So at this point, on this 8 out of 10, I've killed all of the rats on all the rooms. Everything is, all the DPS is dead. So I just need to go through the rooms until the final room with the hostile station. is nice. Makes everything faster. Could be a case to use a micro on the last wave just to burn super fast out of bullet webs. That is an option, but you're gonna have to sacrifice some DPS or some cap stability to have a micro. I mean, it's an option. It's not one that I do. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's necessary. But if you want to do that, go for it. So here, I'm just gonna start microing over to the station. Looks like one of the stasis. Sorry, it looks like one of the sentry turrets is still up, but that doesn't really. That's fine. I mean, it has the polarized. Even though it's polarized, it has enough tank to you know, get in there. So the fit is not cap stable with the micro and the medium shield booster active, and if you're having cap stability issues with the micro off because you don't need the micro on once you're on top of the station, then you can just offline the micro and then you should be cap stable. You don't need to be cap stable. It's just kind of nice because it's very AFK. You don't have to like tap back and start boosting or stop boosting because you're running out of cap or whatever. If you have a decent amount of fitting skills, it should be cap stable as long as the micro is just off, not offline. It doesn't really matter either way. You don't really need it once you're in range. But you see here, once we're in range with the blasters, we just start blasting away. You will have to reload the guns once, so just be ready for that, so that the thing doesn't rep its shield back up super fast. But we're just gonna fast forward for the rest of this, and then get into the 10 out of 10, which is fun. So yeah, it finally died. It takes like 20-30 minutes to finish it off. Once the station's dead, you know, you get this little pop-up. There's just some lore messages. And just like before, it drops cargo container after a kind of weird-looking explosion. Here, I mean, yeah, this is like the least I've ever gotten. Vindicator blueprints like 80 mil. Tajita like buy orders. So yeah, that's like 100. I'd say 150 minimum. From the actual station, and then maybe like 100, like 80 to 100 mil from bounty. So that's like 250 50 mil per hour or something like that, which is pretty decent. Because the sight, I don't know, maybe like 100 mil an hour if you get bad drops, but you know, still pretty decent. So 8 out of 10 is finally behind us. It's definitely the hardest sight that I would run in the Ishtar. Definitely the hardest sight in Syndicate space. It's very possible. I mean, the fit is so cheap that if you run some other things, you know, doesn't really matter if you lose it. I'd say the payouts are worth it, considering that first 8 out of 10 run, I got like 2 Ishtars worth of loot. But here is the 10 out of 10. Now, you may see me, like, there may be like little 1-second cuts in the footage from me, like, saving footage and then starting new ones, because this 10 out of 10 took me like 20 days to find. I could not find 10 out of 10 for this video for the life of me. I just couldn't find any. It was like, it was horrible. I finally did, so you'll see me do on that, just all the little 1-second cuts from me starting and stopping. Just because if some recording footage failed, I wanted to have at least some footage saved. But yeah, enough about that. So 10 out of 10, first room, there's a stasis tower, you just kill it, and then, or at the station, 500, everything's the same, you just kill rats until they're dead, and then that's that. So, I'll return my mix-matched drones. I have like a warrior, 2 hobgoblins, and 2 hornets, and then get the heavies out, start blasting away. Oh, and there's a shadow whatever overseer guy that spawns. So yeah, I just kill him second. I forgot to say that. Sorry. You just want to kill him to get his loot after the web tower is gone, and then yeah, go back to chopping. So, second room, this is where the 10 out of 10 can get a little bit complicated. So this room has 2 stasis towers that we want to kill first and a bunch of rats. It has 3 separate gates you could take. You have the alpha hangar, the beta hangar, and the acceleration gate straight to the station. I like doing all the different areas because it just guarantees a faction spawn. But first, in this room, you just want to kill stasis towers, and then work on all of the ships. Looks like I finally figure out that all the rats are dead. So I kind of make a mistake here, like, so you don't need to, alright, so first I'm going to go to the alpha hangar. Each one has a faction spawn, one of them has a web tower. You just kill the web tower and then the faction spawn, and then you can just take the gate and go back in. I did not know that for this first room, so I killed all the rats. You don't need to do that. You can just go straight back after the faction spawn is dead. But, I mean, if you want the extra bounties, I mean, go for it. So yeah, this room is basically like the first room. There's a faction spawn. Don't believe there's a stasis tower. There's just a guy that's got some loot on him. So, this is the alpha hangar. What I would just do, you just kill this guy, get his loot, and then you can just take the gate straight back without killing anything. Like I said, I didn't know that was a thing you could do. You could also warp out of the site and then back into it, and then go through the first room again. That's an option, but you can just take this gate straight back. So we may just skip till I'm done with this, and back in that main room that has the 3 gates. So now we're coming back into the main room with the 3 gates. We're going to go do the beta hangar next. This one has a stasis tower. You just want to kill that before killing the what's his face, the overseer guy. They all just random names. So we're just gonna slowly burn the whole way there and kill that tower, and then kill the loot. And then yeah, this is when I figure out that I can just you know, I can just take the gate whenever I want to. Here I'm actually checking footage just to make sure it's there, because I'm very concerned with losing any, because this freaking 10 out of 10 freaking destroyed me. It took me so long to freaking... I was gonna say this video would have been done weeks ago if I had gotten this 10 out of 10 sooner. So yeah, this is where having afterburner is kind of annoying. You know, things take time, everything takes time, but it's very useful for mitigating damage and for cap stability. It always feels good. I mean, fits don't necessarily need to be cap stable, but I always like it when they are, because then I don't have to pay attention to as many things. I can just listen to music and maybe watch some Twitch, watch some YouTube. Oh yeah, and there, that's actually kind of cool. You can like see like a ship getting made or something, Megathron. It's kind of cool, you know. These sites do have pretty sick looking stuff, some more than others. But yeah, we're just gonna hop on in, kill that, what's his face? Oh no, kill the stasis towers first. Kill the stasis tower first, because I'm not stupid. And then kill the rat. That gives me my fat loot. So, yeah. So, finished up that finished up that guy, we can just go over and finish up the site and get that loot that I've been waiting for so long to get so much effort in. I 100% hope that it's definitely not the bare minimum, but that won't happen, right? Game, you wouldn't do that to me, right? I certainly hope so. But yeah, this is similar to the 8 out of 10 in that I just jammed out over there. It just has a station that you warp like 30 kilometers from. Web's out to 55, or 52, or 50. Web's out beyond 50, and then you just once you're out of web range, like all the site is so easy just because all the DPS is so far away from where you warp in that it doesn't matter that you're getting webbed. Like you're gonna make it out before any DPS is anywhere near you. But yeah, it's definitely the site. It's on par with the 7 out of 10. I gotta say, it's a little bit trickier. It takes a little bit more time. But the main problem with this room is there is a lot of drone aggro. Doing the sun trick does not help with this site. It's the only site that I found that the sun trick does not work on, where you work the sun, jack, and come back. That drone protection trick. So you can see, yeah, we just go straight to the station. We're decently far away. There's kind of a clump that you spawn next to. I like to just kill them first. But mainly you're just gonna be burning straight away from that station. Nothing can tackle you or anything. So very safe. You just want to burn away and just kill and kill. Just kill everything. You're not going to really be taking any damage. Only one web doesn't really slow you down all that much. It's like, I think it's like 100 meters per second. So you should be fine. You just gotta keep killing and killing. And then we're gonna get into the third and best way, if you ask me, on killing these stations. All the stations are the same, from what I can tell. They have the same on a tank. They do the same damage. They web from the same range. So the 8 out of 10 station and the 10 out of 10 station, and I believe there's some other stations. But these are the main ones that they're the ones that drop loot. They all the same in a tank and can be cheesed in the same way. So we're just gonna burn through all these rats and come back.
My last chance, and I fucked it up.
Your last chance to do what?
To make you my girlfriend for the summer. You're like the coolest person that's ever talked to me. I thought we'd both be drunk.
What does me being drunk have anything to do with it?
You'd get with me if you were sober. Look at you. Look at me.
So, everything's dead. Finally. Takes like 20 minutes to clear all these freaking rats, right? So now we're gonna bring in the Cerberus fit from before. So, the thing with the station is, the thing with all these stations is, if there is a player ship or a player-controlled drone within 55 kilometers of the station, what it will do is it will armor rep. But if there are no drones and there are no ships 55 kilometers away from the station, it will not rep its armor. And the armor rep is the biggest thing. That's the biggest draw. That's what takes the most time to burn through. So this ship, I don't have heavy assault cruiser level 5, so it probably would deal more like 900 DPS, but with my skills it does like 880 DPS. And so that is theoretically not enough, right, to kill the station, but it is. So what you're gonna see me do is land on the station. So land 30 from the station, and then we just burn away using the afterburner. This is where, you know, there could be a case to just using a micro, because it's faster, but I like having the afterburner just to have some slightly better cap, right? But we're just going to burn away from the station, and then once we're 55 kilometers away, turn on all the missile guidance computers, and then just start blasting it. It will take a reload, but it's a lot faster, it's a lot simpler. And then we'll see all the fat loot that I got out of this 10 out of 10. Because it's better be a lot, you know? Put a lot of time into finding this thing, you know? Better be worth it, game. Finally died after, I think it is like 10 to 15 minutes, which is pretty quick, I would say, for one ship. Of course, the more you bring in more, some friends far enough away. You could probably do this in like maybe even a caracal, if you're an alpha account. A caracal may have enough range. Maybe not caracal. I mean, basically just any ship that can get through the armor rep is probably gonna be better than. Sorry, can get through the shield rep after pulling range is probably gonna be better than a ship that can go through the armor rep. If you're an alpha account. So this is something you can potentially do with an alpha clone. All these sites, because they are quite easy. 8 out of 10, that's pretty tricky. But 7 out of 10 and 10 out of 10, I would be surprised if a alpha clone can do it. Could do it in something like a Vexor Navy could work. As long as you can keep your sig tank up, you can have plenty of tank. It's just going to take more time. But it could be possible. I may put some fits, some potential fits, but I'd say something like a 10 men or 100 men. You wouldn't need to be 100 men, just a 10 men Vexor, with like maybe a single armor repper and like a reactive, would have enough tank to do these sites, and you would have, yeah, I mean, as long as you get your sig tank up, right? Primary web things. So, I don't know, that's a discussion for another day. But you see, we've made it. We're gonna do a little ritual, just to make sure I have the highest chance of getting fat loot from this can. We're gonna do a little ritual thing and see. So, turns out we didn't get any fat loot. That's unfortunate. You know, that is very unfortunate. But, chance of this happening, I'd say it happens like 25% of the time. I've gotten, I think the most I've gotten out of 10 out of 10 was maybe like 1.5 bill the shit from one. It's still worth it. This is, I mean, I kinda just wanna, video's over, you know, we did everything, but I wanted to just do some philosophical things, philosophical thinking, you know, like this method for making ISK, doing the hacking and scanning these comet sites down and running them. I believe when I was recording how much I was getting in a week, I got around like 6 billion ISK. And that was working like 2-3 hours a day, maybe. Just kind of running sites as they pop up. So I wasn't really super grinding it. That's enough to plex. Like, I just have one account. That's enough to plex my account pretty comfortably with a decent amount of spending money for all my PvP losses. But, you know, there's plenty of videos out there for like how to get rich, and I'd say what they don't say is that this works for them. It may not work for you. If you're very unlucky, then you're not going to get jack shit from doing these, but you don't need a lot of luck to get decent payouts and live a decently comfortable life. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you had some fun. I hope you learned some things. I hope that if you try these sites out with this ship, that you succeed, right? I think you will. They're not super difficult. It's really just the 8 out of 10 you have to watch out for. And of course, if you have a Marauder, you know, you have a Tengu that does like 2000 DPS, like sure, that will do it better. That will do it faster. But the ship is very cheap. I run sites in very far out of pocket because if it dies, I just don't care. I'm relatively low skilled, so I can't just buy a Marauder. I can't just fly it. So I think this Ishtar feels a very nice spot for a low skill way to make a very decent income in Syndicate space. So thanks for watching. We have a nice day. Maybe you can like and subscribe. And make sure to comment if you have any questions. You can contact me in-game via Discord or via the YouTube comments if you have any questions about anything here. I am a PvPer primarily, so I may have rambled on about some shit that didn't make any sense. So if you want any help, feel free to contact me and I can give you some advice. And the first 2 people to comment on this video get a free Ishtar, so you know, that's that.
catch? What'd you catch?
Oh god. Okay, hold on. Wait, we're fighting this. We're fighting a Navy Mega. ECM drones on it. There we go. All right.
Coming out for back.
Jam
I'm
his drones. Jam his drones.
I'm coming out
Oh
for
god.
backup.
Try. I'll try to jam his drones.
Jam his drones.
Wait, that's a lot of EC drones. Oh god.
Shit. No.
I'm jamming his EC drone.
Jam the EC drone.
I jammed him.
Grabbed.
Kiki jammed him. He's jammed out.
Jam. Oh, he's jammed. He's to the right. Get his ass.
Kiki jammed him.
By the way, I bought a MetaFit stealth bomber so I can start pinging structures.
Kitsune, you're way too close. He's gonna blap you.
I don't think he can blap me.
Nope, he's not jammed anymore.
You can try shooting me, by the way, if you want to. Mega.
Broke jam. Oh no, I'm targeted. I got a dock. Oh shit, I can't.
Yeah, you're freaking your aggro. Burn off. Burn your safe.
I'm burning.
Burn off.
Oh god, I got jammed.
He's jammed again. He's jammed again.
Oh, he's gonna MJD out. You can't hold scram.
This is so dumb.
This is what Anton making pizza rolls.
Let's make sure you don't get off the undock, though, Will.
Man, I got hit. Our armor got hit. I would have been blopped.
Yeah, Kitsune, as long as you're far away, you should be good.
Hold on, I'm gonna upship. Hang on, this requires an upship.
Alright, I'll hold tackle. We got the Kitsune. We need some DPS. We need DPS on grid, goddammit.
Hold on, I got aggression. You're gonna maintain aggression to keep these drones on me, by the way. Just letting you know, if you don't manage your drones.
The EC drones are on me, goddamn. You're gonna jam me, dude.
You know what I have here that's fun. I think I might have a Mercurial docked here.
I don't know how long I can hold tackle. The EC drones are on me, and I don't want to shoot because they probably cause something.
Alright, he's tackled. He's jammed again.
He's jammed again? Good.
Yeah.
Oh man, this docking animation is taking absolutely forever. Man, the people not on comms who just yelled mega tackled are probably so confused.
Yeah, he jumped out. We needed scrams.
Hold on, I'm undocking exactly what we need.
We need scrams. He's gonna
I apologize for any lost drones that happened during this engagement. I promise you my ammo costs more than your drones.
I still got him perma-jammed.
I'm coming! Ugh! Why'd you boot? Whoa, you booshed.
I got tackle.
Yeah.
Will, by the way, if you want us to stop, you can say so.
Hell no. I'm killing his ass.
Oh, I'm gonna lock the wolf up now. I'm in a real ship.
Oh, no. I don't think a Stormraider can even kill me. It's gonna do
It
like
probably can't.
Wait. I know who the real threat is. The Kitsune.
I mean, accurate.
Get his ass.
That
Ow. Again, the
actually didn't take. That did more than I thought it would.
He's still jammed.
Tackle on Kitsune.
I'm going for the wolf.
Kitsen's
Turn.
dead.
Oh no! Wait. Oh shit! Really?
Yo.
Tackle on Kitsune.
Okay. I stopped shooting because I will bounce to you. I will bounce to you. Why are you alive?
Look at how low he
I have 3 points of structure left.
That was perfectly calculated.
Let him go. Let him
That was
go.
perfectly calculated. This is, professional. Or you...
Alright, Kitsune, get out of here. Go rep. I shoot the mega. Oh, ow. Rude? I can't shoot you because of Kitsune. Stop using the Kitsune as tank.
Yeah, we need scrams on the Meg.
Back to station because.
Don't ask her to repair.
Bzz, you once? Bzz.
3 points.
You should screenshot that.
Of structure. That's all I have.
Absolutely screenshot that.
My ammo knew it. It was not meant to kill you.
All of a sudden I hear the sound of it scream. And I went, what?